Welcome back to episode 6 of my flower study series, and for this video we'll be making a beaded iris. This video is a mini compilation of my Europe trip. It's going to be a little bit of travel, some flower studies, and also a full tutorial on the beaded iris. Go grab a drink, get really comfy, and enjoy this video. So today we'll be making a beaded iris, and this one specifically is a national flower of Jordan. One of you actually commented and asked me to try beading this flower, and I just had to look it up. Immediately knew I have to make this flower. I think it's a really special flower. I've also made another version of a regular iris flower over here. I would like to let you know that there are so many ways to make a flower. This one is my interpretation of a beaded iris. So if you like my version of this flower, feel free to just follow this tutorial along and have some fun. I just bought a bunch of beads and I can't wait to use all of them. Look at all the beads that I got. I don't think I bought too much. Just got dragged out of the hotel and now we're on a hike.
Just got hotel out of the hotel dragged out.
It's too early.
I don't think it's gonna be like a mountain or anything. It's just like a.
It feels like a mountain right now.
I don't think it'll be like Mount Iron or anything like that.
Didn't even get to put makeup on. Really nice view. Okay. Currently in Warsaw, and I finally got the time to unpack all of the beads I bought from Prague. I didn't have enough Ziploc bags with me. Let's unpack all of the beads now. Also, I don't know if you know this, but I bought the fuzzy thing for my microphone. I lost it during my flower walk. If you watched that video, I hope my voice sounds more crisp now. I don't think I splurged too much on the beads. I feel like I could have bought more, but I was pretty scared I got too greedy and I wanted to explore more bead stores while I'm traveling. So yeah, let's see what we got here. I got this really pretty purple shade, 200 grams of these. I can't wait to use them. I also got a new shade of green, 300 grams. I got beige as well, some orange beads, yellow as well. Always wanted to try this dark green shade. I think they are pretty versatile to use on the leaves. I should have gotten more. I don't know why I only gotten 100 grams of it. One pack of black beads because I really want to bead the black iris flower. Let's transfer all of them into the Ziploc bags. I'm wondering if I should mix both these colors together because they seem so similar. I don't know if I should do that. Maybe I should. Now let's do this. Maybe I shouldn't. made a new friend from Instagram and she recommended me this bead store in Poland, so I thought it would be really cool to go check it out. I don't even know if you can see me, but I found a really cooling spot with lots of trees underneath, and I think I'm gonna bead here. Let's see what I bought over here. So I bought some colors that I think would look really good if I were to do flower studies, especially for the leaves. I bought this really nice green shade over here. It's like a pale solid color of green. I don't know how to describe it, but it's like a really pale green. I also got these pink shades. They're not as shiny, they do have like a luster finishing onto it, but I think this will look really nice for a contrast, I guess. I also have like this really bright colored red. I don't have this kind of finishing, so I thought it'll be really fun to go test it out. I don't know why am I gonna bead with this color, but we shall see. And the last one, this is similar to the pink one, but it's like a very fainted skin color, I guess. Yeah, so lately I've been studying the iris flower and I'm halfway through it. I thought it would be really cool if I showed you guys how I came up with the pattern for the iris flower. I'm still in the midst of studying the flower. Couldn't find an iris flower over here, so I'm just going to reference through a bunch of internet photos. And that's fine. I don't have a table though, so it could be really challenging to show you guys how I bead, but we shall see. So I'm actually studying two irises at once. I'm going to study the black iris flower and then a regular iris flower. I got pretty greedy and I don't know why I started two projects at once. I'm not even done yet, but this is what I have. So I have the bottom part of the iris flower, and this will be the bottom part of it. I don't know if you can visualize this yet, but it'll be something like this. And then I also came out with two prototypes for the top petals. The first one would be something like this, but I don't know if I like this one, so I came up with another one with like the slight frills at the top. So the bottom should be something like this, and then the top after shaping would go something like this. It's still unfinished, so I'll need to bead a few more petals. But for the black iris flower, I have this one for the top flower, this one for the bottom, Guys, I have a little special Patreon update that I'm really excited to talk about. So if you guys don't know already, I actually have two paid tiers on my Patreon. It's called Bloom and Garden. If you're thinking of joining my Patreon, now is the time to actually do it. Right now, the $5 tier will give you access to all 10 PDF flower patterns. But starting today, things are going to get a little bit different. For $5, you can get all 10 PDF flower patterns for 1 month only. But not to worry, the $5 tier will be an ongoing tier where you will be receiving 2 brand new flower patterns each month to add up onto your library. And of course, if you only want a specific flower to bead, that's totally fine because you can buy them individually on my Patreon as well. And a small disclaimer, all of these flower patterns are actually designed and hand-drawn by me. I do not use AI. So basically, they are much more detailed and you can actually follow and make your flower along at your own pace. I'm so grateful for all of your support. It takes so long for me to actually customize and design and also to draw all of the flower patterns to make sure that all of these are understandable and easy to follow. You see, every one of you who followed my Patreon, it's been an amazing journey learning beading with all of you guys. I'm really grateful to have all of your support here. Such a lovely place to bead. Let's begin beading. Before we start, here are all the materials and I will be linking them in the description box below. we'll be stringing a bunch of beads. We are going to start with 5 centimeters of center beads, and then just prepare your basic frame. We'll be wrapping 90 degrees at the top wire and 90 degrees at the bottom. And then we'll repeat the same step for 2 more rows, but we'll be switching colors when we reach upon the tip over here. Since we'll be switching colors, I'll be cutting an excess wire about 136 centimeters. So go ahead and cut your wire. Once you have something like this, we'll be filling it up with dark purple beads just up until this length. And then we'll be filling it up the rest with black beads and repeat the same process. This time we'll be making a scallop, but we will be stopping up over here, somewhere around the purple line is. So something like this. Go ahead and make your scallop. Once I have my scallop, I'll be bringing the wire all the way down and make another scallop on the left side. We will need to bring our wire in between the last 2 rows at the bottom over here. Insert your wire in between this row. And that's how you shift your wire. Filling it up again. And then go ahead and make your scallop. So once you have something like this, we will be making our next scallop where the purple line ends. And then instead of a regular scallop, we will be making something like a winged scallop, like this. And then we'll fill up with only a few purple beads and the rest with black beads. But this time we'll be stopping somewhere over here. Instead of just pulling the wire down, we'll be bending the edges over here just a little bit. Just pinch approximately 1 centimeter off the wire. Instead of bringing it all the way down, we will be wrapping our wire and making our scallop right over here. And now we'll be bringing our wire all the way up again and create the same effect, but just right below over here. And this time we'll be bringing our wire down and stop somewhere around here. Again, pinch it slightly like this. I'll be reducing some beads over here because it's a little bit too much. And then continue making your scallop. So this is what I have so far. Just repeat the same process again for the third scallop over here. Pinch it up again. You can continue making 3 to 4 scallops, but I think I'll just stop right over here. This time I'll be bringing my wire all the way down and then continue on the left side of the petal. And since this is like the outer row of the petal, I'll be filling it up with purple beads mostly. I'm just going to guide you through the left side as well because I know this can be really confusing, especially when we are changing colors back and forth. Bring your beads in between these 2 rows. So now I have my wire right up over here. I'll be filling my wire with beads and stop somewhere around here. We'll be making our first frilled scallop over here. And then we should be stopping somewhere around this length. Our second scallop should begin somewhere around here. Fill it up with purple beads again and the rest with black beads, but we'll be filling it up right down here. Our second frilled scallop. be filling it up with just a little bit of black beads and then stop our scallop in between these two colored beads. One last scallop over here. To be honest, it doesn't matter if the left side is not synchronized to the right side. You can just do however you want because flowers aren't perfect anyways. So like this. I just feel like making another scallop right over here, and then we'll be finishing off by bringing the wires down. I'll be bringing my wire all the way down and secure the whole petal. Wrap it around multiple times. Top, tuck the wire. And there we go, we have one petal over here. So continue making all 3 petals like these. It doesn't have to be identical, but go ahead and design however you want. I just like to add the purple beads at the end because I think it looks kind of cool. We'll be measuring approximately 5.5 centimeters. Then prepare your basic frame. We'll be wrapping over at 90 degrees for the top and the bottom for 7 rows. Once we have all 7 rows, we'll be making a scallop that starts from here and ends from here. We want to make the middle parts really wide, so it should be something like this. You can see that it's really wide on both sides, narrow over here in the top. Something like this, and then we can reshape them after. Cut your wire approximately 150 centimeters. We'll be shifting our wires down all the way in the middle, somewhere here. And now we'll be bringing our wires back up again at the same point where we made our scallop, and just repeat for another 2 more rows. And then we'll be bringing our wire back down again. So after you have 4 rows of the scallop, we will be bringing our wire up until here, and instead of going on the left side, we will be turning back to the right side and all the way down. We'll try to push our beads to close any possible gaps. Wrap your wire at the top here, turn it for 1 round, and then back to the right side again. I know it looks really weird right now, but just trust the process. Bring your wire down, all the way down over here, and then we'll repeat the same thing on the left. Now we'll be shifting our wire in between the last 2 rows. And now we're going to bead on the left side. We'll be bringing our wire all the way up until here. Now we'll be bringing our wire all the way up again and then back down, then hook it around on the top and back all the way down. We'll be shifting our wire back up again and then all the way down. Now you should have something like this. Don't worry about the gaps because we'll be lacing all of them together so they stay really close and tight. We'll be making little frills all over the petal. It should look something like this. I would say approximately 5 to 6 bead gap in between. So like this, and then we'll be having like 6 bead gap and all the way up to the top to the left, and repeat this length here. should be something like this. And for the top part over here, we are just going to wrap it around the main wire and then repeat by wrapping over at the last row. Now we have something like this, and then we'll be lacing them all together. This is 5 centimeters of center beads. Prepare your basic frame. We'll be cutting about 150 centimeters of wire. Be wrapping up to 4 rows, 90 degrees at the top and the bottom. But we have to keep in mind that we'll be switching in the colors a lot, so you gotta make sure that the purple stays at the bottom, and then we'll be doing a gradient at the top wire over here. So this time we'll be making a scallop on the right side over here. Instead of using yellow beads entirely at the top, we'll be mixing in purple beads in between. So somewhere around here. And now as we make our way down, we'll be mixing in a gradient of purple and yellow beads and then purple beads entirely at the bottom. So this time we'll be making the same scallop on the left side. Remember to just insert your wire in between the last 2 rows over here. Now we'll be making another scallop just right below the first scallop, somewhere around here, and then we'll be ending it in the middle over here, right there. So I'm stopping up over here. We'll be making our third scallop, which will stop up over here, and then we'll be going all the way down. We'll be bringing our wires down and repeat the same process on the left side. I'm shifting my wires in between the last 2 rows over here. We'll be stopping our scallop right around here. And after this, we'll be making our third scallop and then make our way all the way down. So after you have something like this, we are going to make a lace scallop somewhere from here all the way down and then up to here, like this. There are ruffles at the bottom half of the petal, so now just fill your beads up until here. I'll be inserting 5 to 6 beads at the same time. 6 beads over here, scoop it up, and something like this. And just repeat the process as you make your way down. And this time, for the last end over here, we'll just hook it around the main wire right here. And now just reinsert your wire in between the last two rows right here. And repeat the same process by bringing your wire bottom of the third scallop right here and continue making the laces all the way down. So once you're ready, just wrap multiple times at the bottom, just cut the excess wire. Tuck in any protruding edges. For this time, we'll be attaching our petals from the top over here. We are not going to attach them like this, but instead from here. So you can see that my wire is not very long. It will probably be really droopy if I were to use this one wire over here. So I'm taking a spare wire, probably around 10 centimeters of wire. Hook it in between the backbone over here. Find the middle point. This is how you hook the backbone over here. As you find the middle point, try to make a small knot like this, twist it together. We'll be trimming off the wires at the end here and tuck it in. So just like that. I've made about 3 identical petals, even though they're not exactly the same length. For this part of the video, I'll be teaching you how to make the bushy part that is attached on the lower petals. So I noticed that they either have like a really thick yellow thing attached onto it. If not, it's probably like really long. So I'm sharing you 2 options that you can choose from. You can either mix or match and see which one suits your beaded iris. So for this one, you just need to start with 4 center beads and then 90 degrees at the top and the bottom up until you have all 7 rows. For this one instead, we'll be cutting an extra wire about 25 centimeters long and we'll be making a gradient, making sure that the orange is at the bottom over here and the outer part would be the yellow. After you have filled in about 8 to 9 centimeters of beads with yellows in between the orange, we'll be making a really long loop. And then just twist the wires together to secure your loop. Just twist your loop by holding both ends over here. And there we go. So for each prototype, I've made about 3. We'll be making the innermost part of the petal. We will only need one of these. I've cut about 60 to 70 centimeters of wire and we'll be starting with 10 center beads. I've mixed in a really dark purple shade in the middle. So go ahead and prepare your basic frame. It's going to be really small, so I don't need too much space at the top and the bottom. And this time we'll be filling it up with black beads. We'll be wrapping 90 degrees at the top and the bottom. After you have made 3 rows over here, we'll be making a scallop right at the top here. And then we'll be making our way down and repeat for the left side as well. And I'm going to insert my wire in between the last 2 rows right here. So let's make our way down to the right side. So this time, instead of making the next scallop at the bottom, we will be inserting the wire the same direction as the first scallop we made. So I'm hooking it right over here. We are going to hook the same direction as the first scallop. And this time, as we make our way down, you can just wrap your wire at a 45-degree angle. And now I'll be making a little scallop on both sides right here. Wrap your wire multiple times at the bottom and trim it off. Trim the top and then tuck it in, and there we go. We have our inner petal right here. So feel free to customize the colors and however you want it to be. These are all the materials that I have laid out over here. I've got my floral tape and floral sticks. I will be assembling the purple iris first, so let's go ahead and do that. First off, we'll be starting with the innermost petal. So as usual, I will be keeping the loop ends over here. I will not be cutting it. Let's just pinch them tightly like this and then attach them onto the stick. I'm using 0.5 mm wire to attach all of my pieces together. Next, I'll be attaching the upper petals. I have all of the top petals attached. Now we'll be attaching these little guys. So they should be sitting right on top of the lower petals. It doesn't matter which direction they are placed because we can rearrange them all later on. Okay, we have something like this so far. So now we'll be attaching the lower petals. Just make sure that the backbone of the petal should be facing downwards, which is not visible to the eye. So I'm just trying to line up where I place all the twisted loops over here. I just want them to be sitting right on top of the lower petals. I have one last petal to go. Let's wrap them up with floral tape. I'm going to use this embroidery floss. It's under the code 470. As you wrap your embroidery floss, I like to tie a knot at the top of the stem. Upon reaching the ends over here, I'm just going to tie a simple knot at the bottom. And then you can just cut the ends off. I'm using a regular clear nail polish coat to just secure them together. There's nothing wrong with using a regular glue or a craft glue. I just prefer this method. And now we'll be reshaping the iris flower. I'll be folding both sides of the petals inwards so they're not touched but they're trying to face together. And then for the twisted loops here, I'm going to make it curve out and sit right on top of the lower petals. And as for the lower petals, I will just let it push it out and bend forward like this. Feel free to play around with the top over here. They can be facing in and out or randomly, so it looks much more natural. So I made a really tiny mistake. I didn't notice that my backbone of the petals was facing outside, which I don't want that to happen for my top petals. So what I did was I just gently flipped the petals like really gently, and it should be an easy fix because if you secure just right at the end of the petal, you should be able to flip the petals very easily. So one iris done. I actually like the way this looks. I guess I didn't end up using these petals, but if you like to just mix and match, you can even put this right on top of the lower petal like this. Anyways, let's go ahead and assemble the black iris right now. I can't wait to see how this one looks because I feel like it's really gothic and not my usual style, but I love to experiment something new. One more for the top petal. Attach these twisted loops next. Now for the lower petal. This one is really different from the purple iris that I've done. It definitely looks different, but I can't wait to see how it will look. Okay, so let's wrap it up with floral tape. Time for embroidery floss. I'm trying to see what kind of color would suit the stems for the black iris. I'm thinking of something brighter. I don't know if I should use this green or this. I might stick to this one, but what do you guys think? This one looks really special, and this one is like kind of regular. I think I'll go for this one. Okay, now I have the embroidery floss on. I actually love this color a lot. It looks kind of cool. I'm going to readjust all the petals, starting with the top petal right here. I'm going to slowly fold it in. And then now for the lower petals. And there we go, we have our black beaded iris. I like this one a lot. I really love the outcome of this black iris flower. I haven't seen an entirely black flower yet. I think they're pretty rare. I'm really glad I managed to make this one. And if you look up a real photo of a black iris flower, it's supposed to be entirely black, but I wanted to make the black stand out even more, so I added a really dark purple shade around the outer petals. What do you guys think? I really like it. So thank you so much for watching, guys, and if you'd like me to bead the next flower, or if you have any flowers in mind, just leave them down in the comments below. I'll look through it and I'll see you on the next one. Bye!